not planning is a habit that is killing your productivity that you probably don't know about. Hey fam, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be discussing 5 habits that are slowly killing your productivity. When I mean habits, I mean things that you have already incorporated into your daily routine that is killing your productivity, whether you know it or not. So, without much talk, let's move into the point. So, the first point I'm going to talk about is not planning your day. Now, this is at the center of the habits that make someone very unproductive, not planning your day. If you watch my previous videos on when I talked about 5 lessons that I learned from the book Eat That Frog, I had subtly talked about not planning your day and said that you need to plan your day, preferably before you even sleep. I mean, before the next day. If you do not plan your day is going to be controlled by whatever circumstances happen to you. And with life, you know that things are always definitely going to come up, things are definitely going to happen. What planning does is it enables you to prioritize things that are important to you and helps you keep focus on those things so that you are not distracted by things that come during the day. So not planning is a habit that is killing your productivity that you probably don't know about. So you need to scratch that habit off your life. So the next habit that I'm going to be talking about is waking up late. Now, if you have the habit of always planning what you're going to do a day before, you cannot afford to wake up late. You cannot afford to snooze your alarm. You cannot afford to wake up anytime you like, because by the time you wake up when you like, you are already far behind. You are already disorganized. You're already not in tune with the things that you want to do for that day. And you will testify that every time that you wake up late and time has gone, you feel like you have less time to work on what you want to work on. And that then puts you into a rush. And if you are someone that you don't even care, before you know, you're already procrastinating. You've woken up late today, you've moved those tasks that you need to do that day to the next day. So if you want to be productive, you need to scratch off waking up late from your life. You need to stop it. You need to stop waking up late. If you put up your alarm to wake up at a certain time based on your plan, you need to stick to it and follow through with it. So the third point that I'm going to talk about, the third habit, is the habit of being disorganized. Some people, I think sometimes people hang these habits on personality traits. You feel like you are a sanguine, like you're just anyhow, you're everywhere. So you cannot afford to be disorganized because you're not going to be productive. If your environment is disorganized, it's going to affect you, it's going to affect your productivity. So you cannot afford to keep your environment not tidy. And one of the ways that you can actually get disorganized is when you even wake up late. That's one way that you can even get disorganized. So if you are constantly at a place of being disorganized, you're not going to be productive. So you need to scratch that. So you need to wake up early. You need to organize your day by planning ahead of time and organize your space. Organize your space. Work in a clean place. That it's going to give you a breath of fresh air, because imagine your work table having so many things everywhere. You're not going to be productive. So you want to scratch that habit off your list. The next habit that is killing a lot of people's productivity is mindlessly scrolling over the internet. That is major. That is major. And for some people, when they wake up in the morning, the first thing they do is to pick up their phone and begin to press their phones. You don't want that. It's going to mess with your productivity quotient. You don't want to do that. When you wake up in the morning, your first point of contact should not be your phone. Your first point of contact should be that you are in touch with yourself, right? Take out time, breathe in, take out time, strategize, have that alone moment with yourself before you go into your phone, right? And when you do that, you see that your morning is organized, and you would have to stop scrolling mindlessly over the internet. So for instance, you have a project to work on, and I would say that this happens to quite a number of people. You get distracted, you pick up your phone, and you are scrolling on social media or scrolling on one thing or the other. By the time you are going back to your work, you will need twice as much time as you started to get back to where you stopped. So if you're going to be productive, if you're going to hit your tasks, if you're going to do what you need to do, you need to block out time. You need to block out time for use of your mobile phone. You need to know that when you start work, you need to center in, you need to focus. This is one of the lessons that I learned from the book Deep Work. So as I put out content, I'm going to do a whole video telling you the lessons I learned from Deep Work. So when one of the lessons I learned from Deep Work is that you need to focus, and for you to focus, you need to get distractions off. You need to block off time and say, I'm going to be doing this at this time, and do not go press your phone, because that is a sort of distraction that you cannot handle. That's a distraction that will make you very, very unproductive. So you need to scratch that habit of mindlessly scrolling over the social media, moving from one social media platform to the other. And it's so addictive, because at the end of the day, you just realize that you spent 30 minutes on social media. You spent 1 hour on social media. And let me put you to the test. I want you to go to your phone. It depends on the phone you're using. You should be able to track the times that you spend on social media apps. You should be able to track your screen time. When you do this, you realize that you are using some of your productive hours doing unproductive things. So you need to scratch mindlessly scrolling on social media. Another habit that is making you unproductive is lack of focus. You can't stay still. You can't start a work and stay still. That is where deep work comes in. One of the things the author says is that you need focus. If you're not focused, you're not going to be able to deliver excellent work. You need focus. You need maximum focus. You need less distractions, because when you are focused over a length of time, you are able to hone in deep into every knowledge you have. You're able to think deeply. You're able to look at whatever you're doing at different perspective. But if you start a work or start a project now, and in the next 10 minutes you are getting notifications on your phone and you are pressing your phone, or in the next 20 minutes you are attending to someone that has come with a request, that is a break in focus, and it is definitely killing your productivity. So I'll just recap on the 5 habits that I've spoken about today, killing your productivity. The first one I talked about is not planning your day. I've also talked about waking up late. I've also talked about not being organized. I've also talked about mindlessly scrolling over the internet. And I've also talked about lack of focus. So let me know, which of those habits are you going to be scratching off your life this week? Not next week, this week. All right, till I come your way, guys, next week. Bye.